Hello, everybody. Scott Golden with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. We move into the 11th of July, 1987. Actually, a very short show, only 36 minutes this week, so I'm not sure what they clipped out, but they clipped something out. Comments from Gary Hart promising to get rid of Bruiser Brody once and for all. Bruiser Brody says he's going to brawl and been trying to get rid of Hart for years. They do the new, more New York style open. To open the program. This is a super historic wrestling program as the debut of Texas Red, otherwise known as Mean Mark Callis, otherwise known as The Undertaker, is here. I believe this is his television debut in the sport, so really cool to cover that. Seeing him as a masked individual, a big deal. We opened the program, though, with Matt Bourne and the Spoiler versus the Rock and Roll RPMs. Bourne with a garbage can. Spoiler with a gold mask and gold cape. Just really awesome to see. Red and gold to be most specific. But really awesome to see. Spoiler comes in. Don Jardine has been a major force in Texas wrestling for several years. Goes right at the RPMs. Back leg heel trip by the Spoiler. Spoiler is in control for the majority of the day here. We actually see a German suplex by Matt Bourne. Bourne wants to square up and get her done. That is not something that he is being offered to fully do here. And then we kind of see the back off a little bit of the whole process. So, Bourne kind of breaks things down a little bit, and it's interesting because Bourne catches one of them catches the foot, goes and punches him right in the jaw. There's the beg off vertical suplex by Bourne. The team of the RPMs do manage to try to get things going back their way. Kick out of the Elkanah roll, and Bourne finds himself in trouble. All four men enter the ring. It feels like a cluttered mess of a match. I know it's not, but there's so much movement that it's just kind of too much in a lot of ways. Bourne does get the victory for his team, and that causes problems for the RPMs. Then we go on to, like I mentioned earlier, the biggest match of world class, maybe because a Hall of Famer is here in Texas Red, otherwise later known as the Undertaker, in a black mask, facing off, oddly enough, against Bruiser Brody. Now, Taker is obviously greener than grass. Brody with the back leg heel trip using the arm. Taker has an open, basically just wearing a pair of pants and a mask, no shirt, so he looks a little, I don't know that pale's the right word, not the most muscular of fellows, but a huge guy, and, managed by Percy Pringle. Now, figure that out. It's amazing there. It's amazing there. We see them brawl around the ring on the outside. Brody hits Red with a chair, and just stomp out and over, and a choke by Brody. Brody with the running kicks into the tied up Texas Red in the ropes, and a win there. Brody manages to get the win over the big man, and it's a big deal to say the very least. Anyway, short match of note. Highlights of Skip Young and Tony Atlas versus Ted Arsini in Texas Red. They seem to like the advent of Texas Red here in the area, they do a Carrie's Corner where Carrie Von Erich talks kind of about the history of this, and they bring that through. Like I said, turn it into a more segment-based program than it has been before. And then we do see that highlighted version of Young and Atlas. Atlas gets beat on by Arsini for a few minutes, Irish whip, and that doesn't go particularly well as a back elbow from Arsini gets things going. Percy Pringle managing both men, both of the heels on the outside. A power move by Atlas, almost a power slam. There's a chair in the middle of the ring, which means that the heels try to get things going their way. Kerry Von Erich offers to handle things, and we then see Fritz's scrapbook talking about the history of the World Class Championship Wrestling World Championship, talking about guys not being able to save the title by disqualification, talks about having the best wrestlers in the world, and the split off from the NWA without mentioning the NWA by name. Cowboy Tony and Eric Emery versus Steve Simpson and Steve Casey, and obviously Simpson and Casey, a relatively new team. Boy Tony gets turned upside down, pink and multicolored tights for Tony, who gets nailed with a drop kick in the jaw and then flipped over into a head scissors headlock, and that trade. Simpson, again, a guy I think they could have done more with, but it's little neither here nor there. The continuation of some brawling action. The team of Emery and Tony go to town for a few minutes. Emery takes over on Simpson and manages to slow the match down. Tag off to Steve Casey. Emery and Casey are at it for a while. A couple of minutes there, Simpson comes back in ready to go, and that leads to the, I guess you'd say, breakdown of the match. Your eventual victors are, I believe, Simpson and Steve Casey do get some form of momentary look like they're going to win anyway, but a superplex attempt. But Sean Simpson makes his way in, interfering, causing a disqualification, and so the Simpson brothers are finally here. I thought they were here much earlier in the World Class run. The heels are not happy with the interference from the outside from the brother. Al Perez and Skip Young is your WCCW Texas title main event, and they are given about 10 minutes, maybe a little more, a little less. Quick roll-up by Young early, and he then goes for a crossbody from the top 1-2 and almost gets a victory there. Gary Hart not happy with how aggressively Young is pursuing his desire to be the champion here, but the Texas title means a lot in the area. Beautiful leapfrog by Al Perez. Perez, though, does need a little more seasoning and may not be quite ready to hold that championship. Some would debate. Young does fire up the crowd, and the piece that they did a few weeks back about highlighting, his work in the church and all of that, especially in the deep south of Texas, I think there's a certain level of over that he got because of this hip toss takeover, and then we see Perez continuing to fight the double leg takedown by Young, and that almost gets him where he wants to be. Running backbreaker, or I guess you'd say walking backbreaker, fast walking backbreaker by Young. Young looks like he's got the match under control. Looks like he can get a victory if he wants it. Meanwhile, Perez bails out to the floor. Looks like he is about to lose. He's not happy with this, so he almost gets counted out. The interference and the throw over the top rope by as the referee has gone down. Gary Hart interferes, but before that, there is an inside-out suplex. 1, 2, 3, and it looks like there is a win. However, throw over the top blocks the championship change from happening, and we continue on next week here in World Class. Till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.